Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to our second matchup of the night. Welcome back to WTL World Team League 2024 Summer Round 2, day number 1. We just wrapped up with an insane series with an upset between Offside and Team Liquid, and now we're back with Team Vitality versus Platinum R8. Let's go. Looking at our lineups here, we have Solar versus Goblin, Ryung versus YoungYakov, and Maru versus Kelazhur. Oh boy. Team Vitality, they are the reigning champions. They are the reigning WTL champions here. Can they be stopped? Can anyone slow them down? That is the question here. They already took down CranKy Gaming last week, and now they're up against Platinum R8. Let's go. Up first, we have Solar versus Goblin. If you're in the chat, predictions will soon be open for this ZVP. Game 1 is going to be on Post Youth, and Solar rocking a new hat, by the way. It looks pretty good, not going to lie. I like it, puppy. I like it. But here we go. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have Solar for Team Vitality. And in the top right, we have a Goblin for Platinum R8. Let's go. Did you get Macca's? It's midnight here. You'd have to drive through. Macca's do deliver here at around midnight. I think they end delivery at midnight? Question mark, I think. Or maybe like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. Something like that. I don't know. Exclamation mark menu pug. But it is quite late here. It is quite late. It's all good. It's all good. One of these days I'll have Macca's. I always keep saying that for Kung Fu Cup I need some KFC. And it's yet to happen. Yet to happen. Here we go. Here we go as we are settling into our first game. So far, nothing too crazy. I mean, we're loading into Post Youth. Post Youth, known for being one of the other quirkier maps out there. It's a very large map. Don't get me wrong, it is a large map, true, but at the same time, does have a lot of goal base to take advantage of. You have a hybrid pocket base here that you can take at your natural. Likewise, you can take the goal base further on out as well. And take them as we're still settling in. But in my region, I just check suburb, really. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know if it's a suburb thing. It's probably just like a Macca's thing. Like, if the Macca's near you stays open that late or not. Which I guess is like a suburb thing, I guess. Here we go. So far, we're settling in. And again, Goblin has been looking quite impressive recently. As of late, Goblin has been looking very impressive. We casted Goblin last week against Stats, by the way, and Goblin 2-0'd Stats in his team's series versus Twisted Fairy. It was very impressive to see Goblin pop off in that PvP. Was looking confident, by the way, but that was a PvP. Now he's up against one of the best Zerg players in South Korea. Top 2 alongside Dark. Solar is not one to take lightly. As of now, we do have our opener of choice. It is going to be a Stargate opener here from our Protoss player. Meanwhile, if you're in the chat, predictions are open, by the way. They're a little bit late, but predictions are open, so you can place your bets on who you think takes this. Will it be a 2-0 in favor of Solar or Goblin, or is it a 1-1 score between the two of them? Up to you to decide. Best of luck. Best of luck with your predictions, as it's going to be a Void Ray opener. Okay, the Stargate initially wasn't too crazy, but the Void Ray is. Now, with this Void Ray, Goblin, of course, is going to be shutting down the initial Overlord. Is going to be keeping Solar in the dark. Is going to hunt down the Overlords, and from there, go into some hidden tech. Now, the question becomes, what is that hidden tech going to be? It doesn't have to be hidden, by the way. Could be double Stargate Phoenix, could be double Stargate into Skytos, could be a Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts, or it could even be a standard game. Third base with Blink and +1. Solar won't know. Not easily, at least. As the Overlord is going to be shut down. And there it is. We have our answer, by the way. Double Stargate Skytos. That is a second Stargate and a fleet beacon, by the way. We're rushing into carriers. Let's go. Again, this is one of the multitude of things it could be. I did bring it up earlier when I was listing off, it could be double Stargate Phoenix, could be a Skytoss Rush, it could be a Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts. There's a lot that could be on the way, and Solar has to piece it together. He has to try to piece it together here. Now, what I do like from Goblin is he has not started +1 air attack. Thankfully, because of that, there's no easy tell. As Lings, they try to slip in, the wall is up and running. Oh, but the Adepts are caught out. One Adept will fall. Up! The other Lings, they barely do not get in. Not a bad pick off there by Solar, and we're not going into carriers. My apologies. It's going to be a Tempest Rush from Goblin. Tempests are amassing as we speak. Now, the way this works, you want to build up, a solid 4 Tempest count before moving out. We have Tectonic Destabilizers being researched as well. That is the bonus damage to structures upgrade on the way. We can see Solar getting a safety Roach Warren. That was around a 4:30 or 4-minute Roach Warren from Solar. So it is being safe behind this. Tempests are on the move. Lings, they shut down the Adepts at least. But they missed the Tempest. Tempests are missed. They're trying to bust in. They do scout the Stargate up. Did they see what's going on? Hard to say. Hard to say exactly. As a Tempest, they have been revealed. How many queens do we have? How many queens do we have? Uh-oh. Yeah, there we go. We're making 3 queens at a time. We do have a transfuse. Interesting. Goblin focuses down 4 drones. Backs up. Gets 4 worker kills. Forcing out the Spire. Now, what I like here from Goblin is he is not committing to Skytoss. He has made Tempest, that is true, but he's switching into a Forge and a Twilight Council, getting ready for either a Blink transition or charge. So Goblin, he isn't doubling down on pure Skytoss, is what I mean. He's switching out. And if he overcommits to Corruptors, then he's gonna have dead supply. That's the scary thing about this build. This is a build that Classic was very fond of last year. And speaking halfway through last year? Around August? August, September, into November, into the last season of GSL, if you remember. Classic did popularize this. Tempest into a switch into Ground Toss. So Solar should be familiar. He is in the back of his mind. As we do see the 5th Tempest arrive. 11 Corruptors on the way. Thankfully, we are working on Roach upgrades. Oh my god, that hatchery getting so low. We can one-shot queens. Oh, we can one-shot. 2 queens go down. We try to focus on that hatchery as well. The transfuses are clutch. We barely keep them alive. And here come the Corruptors. And now Goblin has to get the hell out of here. Yeah, picking up another queen. Does force the recall. 1 Tempest goes down. Just barely. And now Solar's on the hunt. Now, as a reminder, Solar has to be careful not to overcommit into Corruptors. He has, I think it's 11, 12 Corruptors. From here, we need a ground army as we're switching into Blink Stalkers. We focus on another Tempest. But again, one of the common mistakes that Zerg players would make here is overcommit to the Skytoss, to anti-air. But again, it is a lesson that a lot of Zerg players have learned over the past 6 months. So do see Goblin pushing through that southern side. We catch another one of those Tempests. The base is under fire. Tempests are going to be shut down, and we do have Ling Ravager. We have a ground army, but is it going to be enough? While zoning Goblin away, we catch another Queen and a Roach. Not bad. The Roaches and Queens get shut down. A Goblin behind this, not taking too many gases at his 3rd. And taking the 1. Yeah, he's got 8 gates behind. It's a 3-way soul in. 3-way soul in here from Goblin. He is on 8 gates. And it's all or nothing. His goal here is to end it. Across the map, the Corrupt is going for the base. Going for the Nexus. Wild's going to be forcing back the army. Yeah, the Nexus goes down. And Goblin, he was already all in, but now his economy has been stifled. He has that much less to warp in. But he's still gaining ground. Blinks are looking good. The Wiles not quite connecting. Goblin still has a terrifying army, and he catches another queen. And Solar is barely holding on. I believe the Corruptors are racing back home. Actually, they're going for the gateway, I believe. Yeah, big catch there from Solar. It's off screen, but he's going for the gateway. At the same time, we dive on top of the Ravagers. Boys are being pulled, but so many Ravagers go down. Solar, he's in trouble. Solar's in a lot of trouble. Good target firing there from Goblin. Does get as many Ravagers as he can. Remember, Solar, he can afford to lose drones. 6 drones go down, and Solar, he barely holds. Whew. Yeah, Balzan anticipating the blinks there from Goblin. And the proxy gateway has been shut down. Reinforcements, they take that much longer to get across the map. They've arrived, though. Oh! Again, Solar, he's not out of this yet. He's not out of this yet. Once again, pulling more boys. Actually, sorry, transferring over even. Lings are coming in. Oh, they're doing so much here. Lings do such a great job. GG gets called. Solar, he survives. Whew, does survive the all-in here. GG. Solar takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, so important here that Solar was able to get into Roach speed, get into his Ravager production as well, be ready with his ground army, and I love how Solar made use of his Corruptors. Remember, he went across the map, he didn't just kill the 3rd, it happened off camera, it happened on the minimap there, but he also went for the proxy gateway. He also shut down the proxy gateway as well, which did massively delay warp-ins and reinforcements. I think he killed the gateway and the pylon as well. So it took that much longer for Goblin to reinforce. On top of that, he was stuck on 2 bases, long distance mining from his 3rd. So the all-in did not hit as hard as it usually does. And with that, Solar, he survives, and now it's going to be on Goblin to bounce back. Game 2 on Oceanborn. Game number 2. Here we go. The Solar Supremacy. I mean, yeah, Solar, he is coming in as a favorite player here, but that was still a spicy game from Goblin. I appreciate that he came in with a plan, right? He came in with a cheese, with a Void Ray opener into a Tempest Rush, into a 3-base all-in. A very intense game there. But Solar, he was pretty cool, calm, and collected under the pressure there of Goblin. Very confident play there from Solar. And now we're getting into Oceanborn. Interesting. I'm curious. We have seen some Skytoss rushes on this map before as well, but I'm curious as we're getting into game number 2 and spotting. The bottom right, we have Solar for Team Vitality, and in the top left, we have Goblin for Platinum R8. Or Platinum Heroes R8. Here we go. Now, this is not a bad map to try to go for the mid to late game here for Goblin, to try to secure yourself on 3 bases, take a 4th base as well. Maybe even bait an all-in out of your opponent. Zerg players going for Roach Queen based all-ins on Oceanborn are seen quite often. We'll see. We shall see. I'm being bored and I'm seeing if I can put an order in right now. Let's go, Poppy, let's go. Can't do it. Only the ones near 24 hours. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. All good, Poppy, all good. It's probably a good thing that you're not getting Magas at midnight, though. To be fair, it's okay. It's okay. You can get Magas tomorrow, Poppy, tomorrow. Oh. For now, though, we are settling in. It is going to be Hatch Gas pull out of Solar, forced to take the unnatural natural. Meanwhile, Goblin back at him going for a gate expand into Cybercore. Everything looking as it should for the time being. No big deviations yet. We're basically waiting for the Cybercore to finish, and then we can see if Goblin goes for Warp Gate or not. We'll see if he goes for a Twilight Council or a Stargate. We'll keep an eye on Goblin here. He's already shown us that he's willing to divert from the norm. He's willing to spice things up. Based on the pylon placement, it looks like a Stargate opener. It looks like an Oracle. I say that just because the pylon was thrown down right next to the edge of the main. Will reduce the time it takes for the Oracle to get across the map. But we'll see. We shall see. As we do have Solar just droning up. There it is. Stargate has been thrown down. And it does look like a more standard game from Goblin. Does look like more standard play. Overlord dips in, gets eyes on the timing of the warp gate. Does confirm that it was delayed. Tomorrow happened 2 minutes. True. Checkmate, lights. You're not wrong. Like, mate, it's already tomorrow. You know what that means? Macca's time. True, true. Este Setsuna. As Adepts, they do get across the map. Going to be threatening a shade to Adepts, do one-shot workers. There's the Oracle now on the way, as I did mention. And it's on Solar to minimize his losses to keep up with the Adepts. Queen pops out just in time. One drone goes down. Not a bad start here for Goblin, getting one worker, but again, we're looking for more. Barely not getting another drone. The shade is forced out, link speed kicks in, and now it's on Solar to catch these Adepts, by the way. Lings are racing across the map. The Adepts, they will barely make it back home, just in time. But Solar is camping the third base location. The other downside of this map, there's only one viable third, really. The other third is just so exposed, so difficult to defend. Solar's in position. At the same time, Oracle dips in. Gets one drone here at the natural. Not bad. Forcing a cancel. As the Lings, they do get eyes on the would-be third base, and up! They don't quite delay the third. As Goblin does throw it down. Does manage to throw it down, is going to get it up and running. Now he's got 2 Oracles on the field, a third Oracle is on the way, and with these Oracles we can harass across the map, we can threaten the mineral lines here of Solar. It's on Solar to keep up with this Queen movement. Speaking of, Queens are trying to keep up. Good reaction there with those workers. 2 drones, 3 drones go down, but the Oracles get low. The Oracles, they take a lot of damage, a lot of hits. And a Goblin's transition is looking quite standard as well. We're going into a Forge and a Twilight Council +1 and Blink. I imagine Blink. Here we go. Goblin just keeping the pressure on, moving out with his 4 Adepts. It's going to be 4 Adepts and 3 Oracles. Doesn't shade. So far doing a good job of shutting down the tumors though. Cleans up the active tumors. Roach Horns in production. +1 melee here from Solar. But now it's going to be Ling, Roach, Ravager. And Goblin is indeed going into Blink. So we're easing our way into the mid game here. Nothing fancy this time. As Adepts, they do commit to the shade. Lings are lying in wait. We get a surround. We do focus out on a couple of drones. 2 drones full in total. At the same time, a big Ling counterattack, but we have a shield battery, we have an overcharge. Yeah, Goblin, he does defend. But 4 Adepts for 2 drones, that was not an ideal trade for Goblin. It's not ideal. Behind this, 4 more gates on the way. That's quite a lot of gateways. I believe that's going to be 7 gates in total. But we have not taken gases at the third. Yeah, very stalk-heavy composition. Goblin is pushing. Meanwhile, Solar going into a Spire. Uh-oh. Bold move here by Solar, taking up into a Spire. As Stalks are moving out. Goblin throwing down a pylon here on the front lines to reinforce. And I said 7 gateways, but we could throw down an 8th gateway here at that proxy location. And Queen goes down, but Goblin is going for a 3-base all-in. And pylons are finishing up. There it is. 8th gateway's on the way. So it's all or nothing here for Goblin, but he gets surrounded. Lings, they come in from behind. They collapse here on the gateway. That's a kill, not a cancel. Big pick off. That does delay the warp ins. Bearing in mind that Goblin is all in. Yeah, has to reinforce back at home. 7 Stalkers at a time. That Spire is not going to help. We need Ling Ravager. As Lings, they bust in across the map. Ravagers, they have morphed in just in time. Lings, they bust into the main. The wall is not a wall. They bust into the main base, forcing back reinforcements. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Solar. As Goblin, he has to race back to his main base. The gateway is still not up and running. It is going to get bottled down. The gateway gets depowered, and the Goblin, he's in a lot of trouble. He's up against the wall, has to rebuild that pylon, repower this gateway. Does finally reinforce, but because so much time has passed, Solar, he has plenty of time here. He has more Ravagers, more Roaches, more Lings coming in. Solar getting further ahead in supply. Goblin, he has to micro his heart out. He's trying to micro his heart out here with his Link Stalkers. Pulling back to the stasis. Ooh, the pylon goes down again, by the way. Oh my god, Solar. He's relentless. He just keeps sniping that pylon or the gateway. Somehow keeps getting in. Once again, a Solar from behind collapses, gets a full surround on that pylon. And he will get a kill. Solar just so quick to rally like that. To slip behind the army. Now this Stalker count is still quite impressive though. It's still a hefty Stalker count. But Solar's on 4 bases. And you can see here, now Goblin's expanding. It's such a late expansion. It's such a late expand. I mean, again, for Goblin to try to take a Nexus at this point, it's too little too late. He's been all in for so long. And now we can make use of the Spire. Mutas are on the way. Solar, he feels comfortable enough to invest into the Mutas. He knows he won't die anytime soon. He's free to make those Mutas. Charges on the way. Temple Archives for Archons, for Storm. At least Goblin does have +2. That is true. +2 does help quite a bit with these Stalkers. Stasis Traps getting up. Army force back. Stalkers are going down. Yeah, we collapse here on top of the gateway. Does fall. And across the map, here come the Mutas from behind. They get into the natural base, and Goblin's being picked apart. Again, he had everything on the front lines, nothing at home to defend. 14 probes go down. We eviscerate the economy, and Solar's not done. He's getting up to 18, 19 probes. Again, Solar in the face of an all-in, just constantly going for these backstabs, these counterattacks, these run-bys. And now he's looking comfortable. Shuts down the main army, collapses on these oracles as well. Oof. Do dodge the Biles. Banelings are morphing in. Mutas do back off, and they're going for the 4th base. Solar just zoning away the army, going for the Nexus. There's Stasis. Ooh, does go off. Solid Stasis there for Goblin. The Biles once again, they rain down on the army. Nexus does survive. We do catch some of these Ravagers. Good pickoffs. Very nice pickoffs here from Goblin. But because of Solar's economy, because of his position, oh my god, he even collapses on the Nexus. And he will kill it. Nexus goes down, and Solar, he has an economy behind this, is the problem. He can sustain himself, can sustain these losses. Solar remaxes. Goblin cannot afford to. Is working on +3. +3 is on the way here for Goblin. is working on +3. We do see Solar just amassing his army. He's maxed out. To be fair, Goblin is close to that as well, and he does have Archons. Archons are up and running. Now we dive on the army. Archons do zone away some of the Ling Bane. So Goblin can take a bit of a better fight here, but Stalkers are going down. Ooh, expensive losses here. Solar pulls back the middle line. No! As we get into the middle line, 20 probes go down. And we were talking about that economy earlier for Goblin, how he was barely sustaining himself, if that, and now that's just not the case at all. Not even. He's down to 38 probes. Under 2 base saturation. He does have an army. He does have +3. True. He has +1 shields on the way as well. Basically, it's all or nothing here. Like Goblin, this army has to end the game. And it can, to be fair. Like, Goblin has the more efficient army. Solar needs to trade. He needs to trade and remax. He needs to trade as best he can. As best he can. Buy time to remax. Goblin may only be on 2 bases, but this army is still terrifying. With how many? 6 Archons? With 6 Archons as well, Ling Bane does roll in. Do you have a stasis behind this? The Archons, they tank a lot of the Ling Bane, but 3 Archons go down. We're down to 3. 3 left. Solar, he just piles down the army, zones it back, catches some of the Stalkers as well. Ooh, big catch there. Mutas, they get across the map. Force the defensive warp in. I mean, again, Goblin, he is actually recovering. He's reprobing his 4th. Back up to 61 probes. And we spoke about it before, he does have the more efficient army. Has been now trading Solar. So can he turn this into a win, actually? Can we believe Solar doesn't have the best economy anymore? He's only on 64 workers. Uh-oh. Is the comeback real? We do catch an Archon. Oh, we get a second. Big ups. Links from behind. We pop off a stasis. And here come the Ultras onto the army. We don't have 3-3. The Ultras are not as tanky as they otherwise could be. Yeah, Ultras are being focused down. 1 Ultra falls. But we clean up every single Archon. And we're waiting for the Lings. And with the Lings coming into play, we can collapse on these Stalkers, and we should clean this up. Goblin was trading well, but you can see him plummet in supply. Without those Archons, there's just no answers to the Lings. And we completely surround and engulf the army. So many Stalkers go down. Goblin had a chance. He had like a glimmer of hope in this game earlier, but yeah, that was a brutal trade. You can see the Cracklings just go to town. Ling's trying to come in from behind as well. The Ultra's getting involved. Kindness plating is done, I believe. And Solar just keeping the pressure up. Keeping Goblin at bay. Another Ultra does get picked up. But we take down the Archons, finally. And we get 11 probe kills. We do see Goblin has expanded, has taken a 5th. And he's going to be able to clean up these... Oh, never mind. Bit of friendly fire. Does clean up some of these Ravagers. They're exposed. Lings are coming in to reinforce. Yeah, Solar has to back up. Yeah, +3 coming in clutch here for Goblin. We get on top of the Nexus. It's going to go down. I believe we have Adrenal. From here, Solar, he can just back off, rotates around. Infestors have arrived. We can lock down these Stalkers. Yeah, Fungals, they do connect. That's maybe too many Infestors. That was an expensive investment there by Solar. A lot of those Infestors go down. Here come the Lings! Finally! What we have been waiting for. I think that was like 3 infestors thrown away, and we made like 6. That was crazy. Some expensive losses there for Solar. Technically, Goblin does have another base. Does have a backup 4th. Getting saturated. Now, what's scary here is that Solar doesn't have the best upgrades. Solar has a Hive, that is true, but he has +1 Carapace. And I believe he has +2 melee. He hasn't started any 3/3 upgrades. That is holding him back a little bit here. But Lings, they get in. Never mind. Lings, they get into the natural. They get into the main base. Probes are going down once again. Show us the fungals. Link is on cooldown, by the way. Oh, where is the Ravager? A couple of Ultras trickling in. Fungal does connect. But Solar doesn't have the largest army here. There we go. He does reinforce with a handful of Lings. Will barely hold on. And Solar with 32 more Lings in production. The Fungals are helping. But yeah, he's got +2 melee, +1 Carapace. Like, these upgrades for Goblin, they've been carrying him quite hard. They've been insane. But we cash out more of these Archons, and this should be the final blow. GG gets called. Solar finally breaks Goblin as he kicked things off with a 3-base all-in for like 10 minutes, for over 10 minutes, then tried to deviate away, and he almost did, to be fair. He almost did manage to stabilize. Solar just throwing away a little bit too much. You know, investing into Ultras, those are expensive losses. Investing into Infestors, those were also quite expensive losses as well. Solar was throwing a lot away there and wasn't looking further ahead, so things were much closer than they should have been. Much closer. Regardless, GG, well played. Solar will take the 2-0. Does kick things off with a win here for Team Vitality, and here come the rest of the lineup. Ryung versus YoungYakov, followed by Maru versus Kelazhur. Let's go. We have our TVZ. Shout out to Goblin, by the way. Again, I do appreciate how he played in game 1 to go for his specialized build. I mean, he went all in both games. To be fair, both games were variations of 3-base all-ins. But especially here in game number 2, Solar was maybe overconfident. Maybe after game 1, he was a little bit overconfident there. Taking up into Ultras the way that he did. Did give Goblin a chance. Did make it close. Regardless, GG. Up next, we have our TVZ between Ryung and YoungYakov. Let's go. Let us go, Pat. Predictions going to be paid out, and predictions will soon be opened in the chat for our next series. And this is going to be an interesting one. Ryung, he is kind of the weakest link of Team Vitality, that is true. Solar and Maru are champions, and Ryung is a veteran of the scene. But when it comes to being well-rounded and overall playstyle here, he is a little bit weaker compared to Solar and Maru. Ryung is a TVT sniper. If you remember, last season, Ryung actually got the MVP award. He got the MVP award of WTL 2023, the winter season, because Ryung just shut Clem down time and time again. He did what Maru could not. But this is not a TVT, this is a TVZ. I mean... Meanwhile, shout out to Onside in the chats, tipping $15. Very crazy games today, Papi. They were crazy. I don't know if you were watching, I don't know if you saw, but we were popping off for Firefly. Firefly, he was crazy tonight. He was able to 3-0 Clem. Rex as well did his part. Shout out to Rex. Big shout out to Rex, but here we go. We're diving into our second series, and in the bottom left, we have Ryung for Team Vitality. And in the top right, we have his opponent. We have YoungYakov for Platinum R8. But thank you so much for the 15 USD. Thank you, Papi. Thank you. That is the owner of Onside, for those that are curious. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, I just realized that Onside and Team Vitality, they have 2 teams playing tonight, technically. They had Offside and Team Vitality. True. True. Both teams competing tonight. Both teams looking to advance on, but can Platinum R8 keep up? Now, I was just getting into a bit of a rant here about how Ryung is a TVT sniper. That is true. Give Ryung any Terran opponent in the world, and I have a hard time hedging against Ryung there. Whether it's Clem, whether it's Gumiho, whether it's Maru, anyone, Ryung can take it to them in a TVT. His other matchups are a little bit more inconsistent. We have seen Ryung pop off. Like, I will always remember casting Ryung versus Dark. It was like a year ago with Asher. I think it was on hard lead if I remember correctly. But Ryung was looking so damn good against Dark. Likewise, we casted Ryung, it was like 6 months ago now, go on a tear in Kung Fu Cup and take down Showtime, take down, I think he took down Hero as well. Like, Ryung, he popped off in TVP. Like, Ryung, I don't know what it is, but like every couple of months he goes Super Saiyan and he just pops off and takes everyone down. I can always rely on him in TVT. When it comes to his TVZ and TVP, it's more of like how he feels on the day, you know, how confident does he feel, how practiced is he as well. So I guess what I'm getting at is that this is a good opportunity for Platinum R8 to fight back. It is a good opportunity here for them to try to bounce back and get a point on the board. Or will the Tuna Terran overwhelm? The tuna, papi, the tuna. Meanwhile, predictions in the chat. Predictions have already opened. Closed, I believe. Best of luck for those that did of course predict. They have closed. I was just a little bit distracted. And here we go, the Reaper does get across the map, dancing with the army, chipping away at these lings. Third base is going to be delayed, by the way. The SCV is in position, and the drone forced to morph into a gas geyser. You can see Ryung already on top of this. This is a very specialized, this is a very iconic trait here of Ryung. He is very quick to go for the third and to deny that expansion for as long as possible. In this matchup, does this every single game against all players, Rainer, Solar, Dark alike. And this is huge. This is a big delay on the third. Oh my god. That is what, 3 cancels on the gas geyser. But finally, YoungYakov will expand, but Ryung, he's done more than enough there at that third base. So very nice aggression there from Ryung. At the same time, Marine moves out. We catch an Overlord as well. As we've lost Ryung. The cam has gone out. Oh no. Looks like we may have lost connection to Ryung's webcam, but regardless, he does pop off here, does supply block YoungYakov. 2 more Overlords on the way. He can't make any drones. Third base is now in production, but it is delayed. A very nice start here for Ryung. He has been able to disrupt and really throw the opener of YoungYakov into flux. It's been a chaotic start for the Zerg. He can recover, of course, but it's not ideal here for YoungYakov. Behind this, it is going to be a 3cc into Banshee, so a very economic follow-up by Ryung into Cloak Banshees. Should have seen our Discord chat when Firefly played them 3 games. Oh my god. I'm jealous, papi. I'm jealous. I'm celoso. I love that if you remember in game after Firefly won game 1, he wasn't too emotional. Like he was a lot more like, you know, a lot more suave, a lot more coy with it after winning game 1. But game 2, that's when the emotions started coming out, man. It was popping off. Beautiful. No. But for now, we're going to be reinforcing with Hellions. Hellions are moving out across the map. Banshees are on the way. We have our stim transition. Third base being taken by Ryung. So pretty standard play here out of Ryung. Just getting into his bio tank. To his bio setup. And we'll see if the Banshees can pull YoungYakov apart. And as the Banshees are soon to be moving out. Nice scout from YoungYakov. He does confirm the Banshee is aware. Oh, YoungYakov getting into an early Hydra Den. That is interesting. 5 minute or just under around 5 minute 10 Hydra Den. Interesting. Okay. Even before his double Evo chambers. So a very Hydra heavy composition here from YoungYakov. We could even try to rush into Lurkers, which we haven't seen that in recent time. I am curious. As the bases, they get in between the bases, they go for the drones. There we go, 2, 3 drones go down. At the same time, Hellions, they threaten that third base as well. Ling's in position, we're going for the Queen. Queen taking a lot of hits, but it looks like YoungYakov will defend. He will hold. Deflects those Banshees. Hellions rotating around. Hydras are amassing. We're going into +1 range. YoungYakov, he's going Mass Hydra. He's not going for melee, by the way. This is like a Scarlet build. If you remember, a couple of months ago, Scarlet was very fond of going Mass Hydra against Terran. It was an interesting style with mixed success. But like, it wasn't even like lurker rushes. It was straight up Hydra rushes as... Ooh, was that a kill? Uh-oh. I think that was a kill on the hatchery. There was no drone there. Thereafter, we catch the Lings as well. Big pickoffs here. Ryung getting a lot done. Cleans up the Lings, shuts down the 4th. We already have Hydra speed. We're getting into Hydra range. We have a couple Lings to reinforce, but mainly Hydra. Now, what's scary here is that if we do realize what's going on, if we go for a tank-heavy composition, then Ling Hydra can struggle. But we'll see how this dynamic plays out. As I'm uncertain if Ryung has actually spotted the main army. There we go, the Hydras are revealed! And that's a lot of Hydras! Yeah, creep is being denied. Tanks, a little bit late to siege there, but the creep at least is receding. Ryung is now aware we have tanks behind this. Okay, we are rushing into lurkers. The hive is on the way. Lurker den has begun. So YoungYakov is looking to try to rush into those lunkers. Again, this is a style that's very uncommon nowadays. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this works. See if he can pull this off. Tanks, they did unsiege at the wrong moment. But they do survive. You can see Ryung applying so much pressure here. Rallying tanks across the map. No gases, or he hasn't taken the second gas. Guys are at his 3rd. I believe he's on 8 Raxes. Yeah, Ryung just asserting himself across the map. This is going to be close. Basically, it's purely Marine tank. It's Marine tank with a handful of supportive units. But this is a 3-base all-in from Ryung. No second gas at the 3rd. No second factory. No force CC. Lings, they do force some friendly fire. Not bad. Ryung is being slowed down, and he is not threatening bases. He's threatening creep, yes, but he has yet to push in towards the hatchery. And lurkers have arrived. With the arrival of these lurkers, YoungYakov should hold. The contamination on the upgrades. Yeah, YoungYakov is expanding behind this. Ryung rotating around. Now he's getting his 4CC. Now we have a second factory on the way. Yeah, Ryung is transitioning. Now we have add-ons on those Raxes. He's pivoting away from his 3-base all-in. Force attack up. A big tank volley is going up. Oh my god, the lurker goes down, and it looks like Ryung, he has outpositioned YoungYakov. Gets a kill in the hatchery. Big pick up. Oh, we even catch a Viper. Again, YoungYakov, he was holding on, but he was caught out. Not where he needs to be. Trying to collapse on these tanks, but the tanks able to siege. And big volleys go off. And we get a Dune drop into the main base. YoungYakov is being pulled apart. He did well getting into lurkers, but lurkers are like tanks. They're very positional based. And we're going for the hive. Do we have a transfuse? I'm not sure we do. Hatchery is getting low. Lurkers under fire. And Ryung, he could back off, but no, he just keeps going. He's pushing in. At the same time, dives over the Hydras. Pushing in towards the natural. And YoungYakov is being choked out. He just cannot keep up. Not anymore. Sure, the lurkers, they defend the 3rd, but what about the natural? We just ignore the lurkers. We just head towards the natural instead. Push wherever the lurkers are not. And without lurkers at the natural, how do we hold? How do we defend? We don't. Boys are being pulled into Marines. It's a meat grinder. The drones are going down. 20 workers fall. The lurkers, they try to collapse on the tanks, but they have no support. And lurkers are being focused down one after the other. And Ryung, he has done it. He has broken the back here of YoungYakov. GG gets called, and Ryung takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Whew, a solid game there out of Ryung. Again, I was very impressed by YoungYakov. If you remember, winding it back, YoungYakov are back, and we're getting into game 2 side delta. Interesting. So we'll see. Or just play standard. As spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Ryung for Team Vitality. And in the bottom right, we have his opponent. We have YoungYakov for Platinum R8. Let's go. GG the GOAT. He's the tuner, Bobby. He's the tuner. Here we go. Some people have asked before, you know, the story behind us naming our tournament the Sparkling Tuna Cup. It's actually in honor of Ryung. It is called the Tuna Cup because of Ryung. Fun fact. If you don't know, Ryung's Korean name is Dongwon, and Dongwon is a brand in Korea of tuna, like it's canned tuna. So because that in Korean, he's called the Tunitarian, just because it's just a really popular tuna brand, and there's a lot of memes about it. There's a lot of emotes and stuff like that about it as well. And that is one of the reasons why we named our tournament the Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. But for Ryung, Fabi, for Ryung. Less than 3. I always remember we had one of the CranKy Ducklings actually go to Korea, and as a cheerful, they had obviously like Tunitarian fighting, and they had a can of tuna actually like taped onto the cheerful in GSL, and they actually won an award for that. I remember they had like a giveaway going at the time for like best cheerful in the GSL crowd, and they got the award. They got a prize. Love to see it. But here we go. So now it's going to be a rack to span. Standard opener here by Ryung is a standard opener. Meanwhile, YoungYakov going for a hatch gas pool standard opener as well. We spoke about this in the previous game, how Ryung is very attentive when it comes to delaying the third, and you can see here him doing the same. Ryung, he is very consistent when it comes to doing this. He blocks the gas, by the way, and the drone is going to go down. We're rushing in towards the second gas, guys, but alas, it is too late. Ryung gets a kill on the drone, and we contain YoungYakov to 2 bases. Oh boy. Not the best start here from YoungYakov. You can see him trying to punish the Reaper, but the Reaper does get away. We also invested into 6 Lings. Ooh, that's a lot of Lings. And behind this, Ryung getting into his 3rd CC. Economic follow-up by Ryung. I brought up the Lings just because usually you make 4 to make 6. To make 6 is a big investment. It does eat into your drone count as well. And you can see Ryung rotating around. He's looking for any kind of third, any sign of another hatchery. As there we go, finally, YoungYakov will expand. Drone is on the way. Ryung headed in that direction, but he's a little bit too late, and the hatchery does get up, thankfully, for YoungYakov. It is delayed, but it's there at least. Has been thrown down. Behind this, Ryung getting into his 3rd CC into a 1-1-1. Looks to be another Banshee-based opener. Yep, there's the add-on swap. Once again, Banshees from Ryung. So it's the same build 2 games in a row from our Terran player. Really, my eyes are on our Zerg. If you remember, YoungYakov did go for a very fast Hydra Den in the last game. I say very fast, it was around 5 minutes, if you remember. I think it was like 5:20-ish, around that time. And of course, it led into a very Hydra-heavy composition into a Lurker Rush. A very specific build and not seen too often. So I wonder if YoungYakov is going to try to rely on that again, or if we have something else in store for Ryung. As Ryung checks, he does check saturation at the 3rd. He gets into the main base. He's looking for any fast Roach Warren. Doesn't get behind the mineral line, but he does confirm that there's no fast lair at least. So Ryung just scouting, making sure that he doesn't get all in. Making sure that he does not get cheesed out. And here we go, Hellions with the field. This time, that is +1 melee, by the way. That is double Evo Chamber before lair, so YoungYakov, he's now playing standard. I say standard, even cutting some corners here. Double Evo Chamber into a delayed lair, into delayed Banelings. prioritizing those upgrades. This could also mean that YoungYakov could go Ling Bane into Ultra, into Hive Tech, or it could just be Ling Bane into Hydra in the mid game. Both are viable, but we are just rushing to those upgrades much faster than normal. And he couldn't get away with it because Ryung did open up 3 CC. There we go. Now we have the Lair on the way. Now we have the Bailey Nest on the way. This time we're not rushing into Hydras like we did previously. Very different plan from our Zerg player, which I appreciate. I appreciate that he's adjusting to Ryung. Banshees have arrived. They get a couple of drones. Ooh, they catch a couple of transferring workers as well. 3 drones go down. Did I say 3? We get 4, we get 5, we get 6! At the same time, Hellions, they threaten the 4th. Good target firing by Ryung. 6 drones and a bunch of creep. And we can see YoungYakov going for a big lane counterattack. The Hellions are not at home to defend. We do have a wall off though. Yeah, Marines are in position. Lings, they try to go for the surround. They do! Yeah, the wall was not solid, was not closed. We get the Marines, and do we get the tank? We do not. But the Hellions were forced back home. Not a bad run by. Lings were killed, yes, but at least we forced back the army, the Hellions, and the Banshees, and we also traded against the Marines. As YoungYakov is not skipping the Hydra Den. It is Ling Bane Hydra. Now, even though he's getting the Hydra Den, we're not rushing into Lurkers. We're going to be playing with Ling Bane Hydra for most of this game. We can tech towards Lurkers later on down the line, but I suspect that we're not going to be prioritizing it as quickly as possible. As Ryung is pushing. Bearing in mind that Ryung did bleed out a lot of Marines, so this push is actually weaker than it otherwise would be. So he has to take care. Armory is almost done. With the completion of the armory, we can morph in Hellbats. And Ryung does keep his tank back at home. I like this. Normally this push is with 2 tanks, but because we lost so many Marines, Ryung, he keeps his tanks back at home. Only moving out with the Marine Hellion. See Ryung rotating around. His army is spotted by the Changeling. YoungYakov ready for a counterattack as Ryung moves out. YoungYakov following the army. Oh, the Bailings! Not bad. They take down 3 Hellions before they morph into Hellbats. Again, imagine this push with 6 Hellbats instead. Would have been that much more terrifying. But still a hefty force. Ryung pushing in. Takes out some tumors. YoungYakov ready to collapse in the army from multiple fronts. He's looking to flank, and I believe YoungYakov, he should have enough. I say that, more reinforcements are on the way. And the tank does reposition. Threatening that 4th base. Marines, they stim in. They catch a queen. And barely the queen goes down. Creep is receding as well. And YoungYakov does try to collapse in. But we have reinforcements. We are in position. Bailings, can they connect? Good kiting by Ryung. He does kite away. Bailings are being shut down. And Ryung, he takes the fight. A much better concave. Beautiful kiting. 1 tank goes down. But Ryung is not stopping. He's not slowing down. Again, without creep, it's so difficult to engage. And despite the flank, YoungYakov didn't get on top of this, and Ryung is snowballing out of control. 1 good fight is sometimes all you need. And YoungYakov is on the back foot. He's hurting. Yeah, he has to evacuate. He knows he cannot save the base. The hatchery is forfeit. Now, thankfully, YoungYakov, because he recognizes he can't save this, he's not going to like throw too much away here. He shouldn't. So he dives on the Marines. Decent connections. Gets a tank as well. But once again, we have plenty behind this. YoungYakov will lose the base, bleeds out a lot of his Ling Bane. Still wants to fight though. Wants to as Banshees. Oh, they hit the southern base as well. And YoungYakov in a lot of trouble. The hatchery does fall. Again, we already knew this, but YoungYakov was able to make the most out of that. Banshees, though, they hit the southern base as well. You can see the reinforcements from Ryung. He's up in supply. Denies mining at the 4th. And Ryung, he knows that he has momentum on his side. YoungYakov, he needs more time. YoungYakov needs time to rebuild. So he's still on forward. YoungYakov, it looks like he will clean up at least 2 of these tanks. But yeah, the southern base is going to go down. The Queens are caught out, the drones as well. Lings are trickling into their death. There's no defense here. And YoungYakov loses so much. Yeah, the positioning is just too good. And we're dropping into the main. Honestly, Ryung could have just killed that 4th, but no, he's going into the main instead. Leaves out a Banshee. Marines that are left behind, they shut down the drones. And there's a reason why Team Vitality are coming in as the favorites. GG gets called. The reigning champions will take the series as Ryung cleans things up with a 4-0. GG. YoungYakov did try to approach this in a couple of different ways. Like, honestly, I kind of liked YoungYakov's position in game 1. I did like it. Unfortunately, he was caught out of position in game 1, but it was a pretty tense game between Ryung and YoungYakov. Here in game 2, it was a little bit more one-sided there. I mean, YoungYakov, he had some moments where he caught reinforcements, where he forced back the army, but that first fight was brutal. That first fight outside the 4th base, off of creep, into a concave, into, what was it, like 4 tanks, was brutal. It was a brutal moment there, and when YoungYakov lost that fight, he lost the 4th, and that was kind of the beginning of the snowball effect. That was the first domino falling in favor of Ryung, and they did not stop falling. GG, well played. That is going to be a 4-0 here in favor of Team Vitality, but we will still play less StarCraft. He stepped away a little bit from the game. Comments from Emperor. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. And here we go. We're getting into our next one. So in the bottom left, we have Maru for Team Vitality. And in the top right, we have Kelazhur for Platinum Heroes. Platinum Heroes R8. Let's go. As does every EU Top 5 Pro, every single DreamHack. True, true. Who's better than Maru? Battle B, papi. Battle B. Akedon, they're all better. True. Shaking my head. Uber Thermal. That's a stronger Terran player. If only he didn't play random. He's just hindering himself. He's doing it for the fans. As I'm settling into our TVT, and Kelazhur is going to be going for a double gas opener. We have double gas. Oh, both players even. Double gas from Kelazhur, double gas from Maru. It's going to be some more safe and aggressive builds here. Eba, the true. I can get behind that, actually. Unironically. Now that you bring it up, I think Maru's number 2 and Eva's number 1 in the world. True. Este Eva. Ay. I'm shaking my head. But yeah, with these double gas openers, it leads into faster factories, leads into delayed command centers, and we should not be taking the gold bases. I should talk about the map a little bit here, but we're loading into Dynasty. Dynasty has a pocket gold base here for both players. It can be a valuable base to take, but it can also be a very difficult base to take. Depending on the matchup, depends on how you want to take it here. In a TVT, I expect us not to expand to that gold until we take it as a 3rd or a 4th base. It is very exposed and very vulnerable. We've seen players time and time again struggle to expand and actually take control of that economy, of that base. We saw it earlier today between Clem and Firefly, where Firefly abused the hell out of Clem when Clem tried to take the gold. The kind of the rule here is that you can take it against Zerg players, but not really against Terran or Protoss. Just because Terran and Protoss, they can much more easily get into ranged units to punish that mineral line. And as we can see here, Maru is expanding at that linear base location. Again, we don't want to take the gold until a 3rd or 4th later on. You don't want to get baited into that gold base. Not too soon. We can see Kelazhur doing the same. Does take the natural back at home. Does avoid the gold. Behind this, we're getting into our 1-1-1 setup. Maru going for a much faster starport here. Going for his add-ons, delaying his additional Reaper production. So basically what's happening is that Kelazhur does invest into Reaper Hellion. Maru skipped additional Reapers and Hellions for add-ons. And for production. So Maru doesn't have a lot to work with. He doesn't have much of an army here. Kelazhur, can he break through? We can see that Maru, he's got Marines in production as we speak. But that Nash was exposed. The CC does complete in time. And Kelazhur is going for it. Going for the mineral line. Maru getting caught out. One Reaper goes down. Rough start already here for Maru. Marines, they do come out just in time. Boys are being pulled as well. And Maru, he does hold on long enough to get that tank. Phew. Again, that was quite clutch here. Very close. There was that window before the tank arrived where Kelazhur could have broken through, but with the arrival of the tank, Maru holds. Maru does hold, and Maru, he gets away with a better army. Again, because Maru wasn't spending time making Hellions or making Reapers, Maru's able to much easily get into starport production, tank production, medevacs as well. Maru has that lead. Even catching out these units in the center of the map, picks up a Reaper. Maru not bleeding out anything, and he's pushing behind this. Oh boy. Now, Kelazhur does have the defender's advantage, so he does have a tank on the way. Yeah, the tank is out at the natural, in position. Maru diving on the tank here, bold. Yeah, he's crazy. Calm down, Maru, calm down. Does have to back off. A little bit too ambitious there as he rotates over towards the main. Tank volley's going to be going off at the same time though. Kelazhur, he does drop across the map. Slips into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. We managed to get 3 workers. Kelazhur does take a worker lead. Very nicely done. As we drop in towards the natural, getting another worker. Maru struggling a little bit here again. He did invest quite heavily across the map, which means this drop gets that much more done. Marines, they pick off another SCV, another 2 SCVs go down. Oh, with the arrival of the cycle, we shut down the drop though. The medevac falls, but Kelazhur takes the worker lead. All in all, worth it for Kelazhur. Getting 7 SCVs for a drop of Marines. Well worth it for our Red Terran player. And he's in a good position. Kelazhur is in a much better position here, going for a 3rd CC. I imagine looking to get into his gold. Meanwhile, Maru, I don't see a 3rd CC in sight. Okay, interesting. Now, because Maru took so much damage, he knows he took so much damage. He knows that he has lost so many SCVs. We may just double down and go for a 2-base all-in. Got a hefty tank count. We got some Ravens. We can see Kelazhur is looking for the gold. Checking for a 3rd. Maru is committed. Behind this Maru, he is expanding, so he's not all in, but it's a late expansion. Maru needs to get damage done. You see him rotating around. Trying to keep up with the movement of Kelazhur. Scans across the map. Oh, that's going to be 5 tanks for Kelazhur getting in position. What does Maru have instead? Maru has the Ravens. Kelazhur does spot the army. And he's pushing. Okay, he comes back. Spots the army, turns back around. Maru likewise also pivots away as well. Again, TVT is a battle positioning here. It's all about positioning, and Maru does catch a tank for free. Assuming he doesn't lose the cycler. Yeah. Does pick up a tank. That's a pretty expensive loss for Kelazhur. Auto turrets are thrown down, and Maru's going to engage. Does pull back. Ooh. Bleeds out a couple units. That did cost Maru quite a number of auto turrets. Does retreat. Vikings have arrived. Maru with the Viking lead. It does go for the dive. Almost picks off another tank. Almost. Maru, he has spent a lot of energy already on these auto turrets. And can he siege up in time? Big tank volleys go off. Maru pushing it on top of the tanks, and where's the support? Where are the Marines? There are none here for Kelazhur. Maru, he breaks through, gets on top of the tanks, busts into the natural base as well. A very clutch moment there, when Maru was able to catch those tanks. And with that, he has control of the natural. Vikings are going down for Maru, but so many SCVs are falling. And he wants more. The Vikings are coming in from behind. They get the Raven. Yeah, they go for the lane as well. Boys are being pulled. And even if Kelazhur survives here, he's lost so much. 27 SCVs go down. Ay, ay, ay. 29 workers even. And behind this, Maru has the gold. That's the other thing I'm a little bit shocked by, is that Kelazhur did not take the gold of his own. Took the standard third base. So Maru even more ahead economically. As it may be 3 base versus 3 base, but Maru's 3 bases is not quite like that of Kelazhur. As he has the gold, shuts down, even forces back a medevac as well. Ooh, gets a kill. And now Maru, he's building up for a second wave, for a second push, even getting a 4th CC. We have 1-1 on the way, combat shields, additional tank production. Like, honestly, Kelazhur had a really good start. Kelazhur had a really strong start here to this game. But when it came to the armies engaging in the center of the map, Maru did come out on top. I was worried that he was, again, being a little bit too trigger happy with his auto turrets, but what those auto turrets were doing was they were killing Marines. They were shaving off that Marine count. They weren't killing tanks, which is what I was focused on, but they were killing Marines. That allowed Maru to snowball out of control. And now we're going for a drop. Oh, the tanks on the high ground. Oh my god. The tanks, they just deny any kind of mining here at the third base. This is a brutal position, by the way. Mining is denied. Let me just back off. My god. You see Kelazhur trying to catch the medevacs, but alas, we should be able to save them. Yeah, popping up there from Maru. Marines are on the way though. Up, can we catch them? It's so close. The medevacs, they boost away just in time. The tanks are saved. Whew, they got very low. And Kelazhur is moving out. Once again, these tanks, they have not been repaired. They're quite vulnerable. As Maru's getting a 4th base. Maru is that dog sitting in a room on fire saying it's fine, and it's actually fine. I love that. That's great. He likes it, Bob. He likes the fire. It's all good. It's supposed to be on fire. So do you see Kelazhur going for a drop towards the south? I don't think Maru's quite in position. Does have a sensor tower though. Has time to react. Tank lines are being set. Kelazhur going for the dive into the mineral line. Maru does respond. Nice target firing on the SCVs. We drop over the wall. And this is the damage that Kelazhur was looking for. 5, 6, 7, 9 SCVs go. Oh my, can we pull the boys? 13 SCVs go down. Very nicely done here. This will help Kelazhur, but this is really just helping him equalize the economy. Kelazhur's up in workers, but remember, Maru has the gold, so his lower worker count is more valuable here. Is still keeping up, not exceeding Kelazhur. Meanwhile, we may end up going for a base trade here. Kelazhur pushing on the left-hand side. But Maru does react. Does react. The tanks take siege, though. Yeah, Kelazhur's the first to siege. Big tank volleys going off. Maru trying to collapse on those tanks. It looks like he barely will. Oh my god, Maru. Even without tanks, he gets on top of the army, cleans up most of the forces of Kelazhur, and you can see him plummet in supply. Vikings land, tanks get cleaned up. Kelazhur throwing everything away. And I don't blame him. Again, he was the first to siege. He had the high ground. Everything was supposed to be in favor of Kelazhur there. But Maru, with the higher marine count, he was able to break through, stim on forward. Now, this does mean that Maru, you can see he barely has any marines. He lost all of his marines in that last fight. Mainly tank here, but it is enough. The power of the man with gun. As now Maru, he's pushing across the map. And there's not much to stop him. There are 0 tanks for Kelazhur. Can he pull a Maru? I mean, he is. Takes down 2 tanks, not bad. But only 2. As Maru just keeps on pushing. Does not stop. Boys are being pulled. They have to be. CC goes down. And Maru snowballing out of control. GG gets called. Well played. And Maru takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. A pretty back and forth, actually. Again, I did like Kelazhur's position early on. Like, he had, I want to say, a better early game there. Able to pick off a lot of workers, able to shut down the initial push of Maru. Kelazhur was ahead, and Maru, if you remember, he stayed on 2 bases a little bit longer. He massed up his army. He delayed his third. He took the gold as his third to try to catch up. And we have a map of choice. Oh, we're going into Ghost River. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have a team vitality. It is Maru. And in the top right, we have Kelazhur for Platinum R8. Let's go. Steelmold and Chase, the dynamic duo. They did cast a couple of times together. That is true. That is true. We have some clips for that. We have clips. Road to the first perfect sweep of the event. Have we... Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. We have not had a 6-0. We came close. We did come close between Offside and Mystery Gaming, but Firefly did put a point on the board last week. Not something that we have had yet, but here we go. Kelazhur going for a proxy across the map. Okay, so it's going to be 2x. It's going to be 2x Reaper out of Kelazhur. With this 2x Reaper, if Maru is too greedy, he can be caught out, but we're loading into Ghost River. I don't imagine Maru ever not going for a double gas opener. And there it is. 2 gases here from Maru. Is going for the factory. If Maru had gone for a Rax Expand, then he would be in some trouble, but again, with that faster factory, it comes down to the control. It comes down to the micro, and Maru does have the tools to defend. So a cheeky move there by Kelazhur. Likewise, this could also keep him safe against any other aggression from Maru as well. Factory is on the way for our blue Terran player, and Reapers are in production. Now, Kelazhur has to be careful, very careful with his Reaper movement here. Doesn't want to throw anything away, as the Reapers are amassing, moving out across the map. Oh, Maru does move out as well. Does not run into the Reaper. Uh-oh. As Maru, he does shoot first. Oh! But the second Reaper is soon to arrive. We do save the Reaper. Big moment here for Kelazhur. And a nice smile as well on cams. First Reaper going down is massive, and Maru, he's in trouble. Did get caught out, is in trouble. SCV gets shut down as well. We do delay the expansion. Maru has to buy time. Boys have to be pulled. Boys are being pulled. SCV is not quite going down. Good control here on Maru, saving every single worker. Oh my god. Papi. Doesn't lose any extra SCVs. Hellion has arrived. Boys are pulled to repair each other. And now Maru can expand. Kelazhur, though, trying to deny that expansion. Oh. Hellion takes some hits. We can repair. Now we're up to 2 Hellions. Kelazhur rotating into the main instead. And behind this, he's transitioning into a factory and a starport. That is not a CC. Not for Kelazhur. We're not stopping Reaper production either. Kelazhur, it looks like he's going for a 1-base all-in. Yeah, he's getting to Cyclone production. Reactors on the way on that Rex. Yeah, no CC. It's all or nothing for Kelazhur. Straight up 1-base all-in. Big Hellion bullies going off in his army, though. Oh, Reapers are being shut down. Maru has to be careful. His Hellion's getting low. We dive in. We focus one down. And Kelazhur has control of the low ground. Cyclones on the way for both players. There it is, CC from Kelazhur. Okay, so he's not all in, but that is a very delayed CC. Kelazhur is committed. But at least Maru's command center isn't done. So Kelazhur trying to catch up in the economy. Following this up with a drop. Going for a cyclone drop into the main. I imagine. Whew, we need to take stock for a moment. We need to calm things down. Oh, Kelazhur double expanding. Okay, this I can get behind. This makes sense. So because Kelazhur's natural is so late, bam, straight into a third CC. So Kelazhur double expanding here. To catch up, not just to catch up, but to overtake Maru in that economy. It is a risky move. It is greedy. But he catches a Hellion. Good move here from Kelazhur. Rotating towards the main base. Tank is in position and the drop was spotted. Yeah, big tank volley goes off. And that is a third CC on the way for Maru. So Maru is going to be able to keep up the economy here of Kelazhur. Good control out of Kelazhur as well. Diego gets a Marine. Not bad. Gets a Marine, pulls back. Now what's important here is that Maru's third CC timing is not too far behind that of Kelazhur. So we have pretty comparable economies here. The economies are comparable. Kelazhur coming back home, going to be repairing up his cyclones. Going to be topping them up here. And the game is calming down. We're calming things down. We're amassing ravens. We're amassing tanks, getting into our production. Kelazhur is the first to expand and take his third. Maru, a couple of seconds behind. Drop into the main. Oh! Tank volley is going to be going up. Kelazhur not losing anything. What's a little bit worrisome here is that Kelazhur is spending energy on his raven. He hasn't achieved too much with it. Which means that much less to defend when Maru eventually moves out. So let's have to be careful. Maru is getting into Viking production, still doubling down on tanks. Likewise, so is Kelazhur. No one is playing mech, for example. Just straight up bio tank here from both players. As Maru has yet to take his third. His army is spotted by the rack, so Kelazhur knows he could try to drop into the main. Still has those cyclones lying in wait. The main army is moving out. Kelazhur trying to apply pressure to the third. Scans the main base, spots the Vikings, backs up. But here comes the main army towards that third base of Maru. Maru not in position, by the way. Doesn't see the army. Big disables. One tank does unsiege, the other gets caught out. Good pick up there by Kelazhur. Good reaction by Maru, preserving his tank. Drop into the main. Maru, he was pulled out of position. SCVs are going down. Auto targets are being wasted as well here. Quite a lot, actually. We will clean this up, not without losing 5 SCVs. And there's only 1/3. On this map, there's only 1/3 base to take, so Maru, he has to wait until the army backs up. Pushing back in. And after that move, Kelazhur is ahead in economy. He's ahead in SCVs, ahead in his overall income. Has a slight army lead. It is 4 ravens versus 4 ravens. This time, though, Maru, he's ready for it. Up. Is ready. Is in position. Kelazhur rotating around. Kelazhur getting his 4th on location. I like it. I mean, Kelazhur has map control, so it may as well expand in such a way. Getting ready for 2-2 with that armory. Maybe going for some auto-target harass. Gets a couple of SCVs. Oh, one Raven goes down though. That was not worth it. It's one of the first big slip-ups here from Kelazhur this game. Throwing away a Raven for one SCV. Did fly too close to the sun, did get burned. And Ravens are so valuable in TVT. Like, on the one hand, TVT is very much so positional based, that is true, but Ravens counteract that because they can disable. Even if you get caught out of position, can disable tanks, you can take a fight anyway. So Kelazhur has to be careful. Takes down some turrets. Rocks are being knocked down. Can we push in towards that natural? I mean, that tank line is brutal. It's but eventually Kelazhur does have to move out from here. Maru waiting for that moment. Let's go to medevac. Cyclone harass across the map. Planetary is not done. Kelazhur backing off completely. It does race back home. To be fair, I feel like this was the time to back off. He got the gas geyser, got some turrets. Didn't want to overstay his welcome. Kelazhur does take a supply lead. Again, with a better economy earlier, does lead to a larger army. Again, that's 7 tanks with the main army of Kelazhur. 7 tanks, 1-1. Kelazhur getting into even double armory upgrades. Okay. Buffing up his tanks. And Kelazhur's maxed out. He's up almost 40 supply. Now is the time. Now again, even though he has a supply lead, it's difficult to push into siege tanks. It's very difficult. Even with Ravens, that's where the Vikings come into play. So in TVT, it is a little bit easier to just turtle up. And you can see Kelazhur, he recognizes that maybe he cannot push in, so he's expanding. I like this. Even though Kelazhur has 200 supply, even though he can't really make use of his army, he's still expanding, making use of his map control, taking up, working on more upgrades. That second armory, for example. So Kelazhur's getting ahead in other ways. And he's going for a split push. We have tanks towards the south, Marines towards the north. Maru, can he keep up? I'm not sure he can. Reduce siege in time. Ravens going for the auto turrets. They catch us some tanks. Yeah, a lot of, oh my god, so many tanks going down for Ravens. Kelazhur, he just threw away, I want to say like 7 to 8 tanks there. And Maru, he's evening up the supplies a little bit here. He is bouncing back. It did cost him Ravens though, to be fair. It did cost him a lot of Ravens. It is important to point out that Kelazhur did retain his own. But Maru is back in this. Of course, Kelazhur has map control and he has a better economy. That is all true. But Maru is bouncing back. Yeah, 2 more starports on the way. Maru is getting ready for Sky Terran. Late game TVT is all about Vikings, Ravens, Liberators, even BCs at the very late game. So we need to maintain that Viking lead, that air control. Kelazhur stuck with mainly a bio army, at least out on the map. That's a lot of Marines. As he is rotating around, even getting a turret in the center of the map. Okay, a sensor tower. And Kelazhur, he will see everything. Does dive up the ramp. Tries to at least the choke point is brutal though. Oh, a lot of Marines going down. A lot of Marines stuck behind the Sim City. Does get a kill in the CC, but that was a questionable fight. You can see Kelazhur plummet in supply. That was not what he was looking for there. And that was an anti-timing. He's finishing up 3-3 in 5 seconds. So a brutal anti-timing for Kelazhur. Throws away a lot of Marines. You can see Maru suddenly takes the supply lead. You can see he killed 1 tank. That was 37 Marines for 1 tank. Oh my god. Kelazhur a little bit trigger happy there, and yeah, Maru, he's back in this 100%. It's things have evened up now. Kelazhur was ahead for a long time. It still has a higher base count at least, but Maru has clawed his way back into this. Again, that was 37 Marines for 1 tank. I mean, at least he got a CC, got a command center. Maru pushing forward. Gets an anti-armor missile off. Forcing back the army. To have the siege. Okay, good control out of Maru. Takes down the turrets, takes down the medevac. Did pull back in time. Takes some tank shield to the face. But Maru, he's after winning that fight earlier, finally he can be active on the map. He can dance here with Kelazhur. Taking down more turrets. Kelazhur getting in position. Actually, Kelazhur going for the natural. You can see him with a second force out there. But he is spotted. At the same time, he does push up towards the south. Does disable the tanks. Nice catch here from Kelazhur. Very nicely done. Takes down 2 tanks. Takes down a 3rd. Went a lot of Vikings. I think it was 1 Viking going down. So a nice catch from Kelazhur. 3-3 now finishing up for Maru as he was behind in those upgrades. Now he catches up. Kelazhur has his half of the map up and running. Maru is about to get his. Again, Ghost River, I didn't get to mention it earlier, but is the smallest map in the map pool. I mean, already every base has been taken. And it doesn't take long at all to move out across the map. The rush distance by ground is very short from one half to the other. It's very much so more of a vertical map than anything. So it is very tense. You have very little time to react here. Good anti-armor missiles here on both armies. And Maru gets caught out a little bit there. Tank goes down. 2 tanks go down. Strong position for Kelazhur. He does keep pushing. Maru split a little bit thin. Vikings, they commit. The Ravens commit. Order turrets are being thrown down, but the disables are brutal. Kelazhur forcing his way up the ramp. The planetary does hold. And the tanks are coming. Yeah, a massive wave of tanks. We go for the disables. It looks like Maru, he should be able to hold on. We need more auto turrets. We get the counter disables instead. Yeah, the constant disables on these tanks. And Maru, again, he should be able to hold on to this. He is running out of Vikings though. The Viking count getting very low for Maru. And Kelazhur, he barely does take control of the air. Forces back the Ravens. Marines are trickling in. This is getting close. Kelazhur, can he break this? It looks like he might be able to. Again, the battle in the sky went in favor of Kelazhur. Maru coming in with more Vikings. Ooh. Does force Kelazhur back, even going for the Ravens. Ordered Hearts do send him away. Maru going for a suicide drop here on top of the tanks. Takes down 1. Takes down 2. Does manage to catch 2 tanks. Nicely done. And the Sables are thrown down. Tanks are in position. Kelazhur cannot quite push up this ramp. Can barely not. That was an intense fight. It was very back and forth. For a moment, it looked like Maru would hold, then Kelazhur was breaking through. Maru does hold in the end. Kelazhur with a slightly better vehicle weapon upgrades, or vehicle armor upgrades, I should say. See Maru trying to shut down some of the vision here of Kelazhur. Going for the turrets, going for the towers. Kelazhur rotating over towards that natural. Maru trying to keep up. You see how difficult it is to be the defending player here on Ghost River. You have so little time to react. And here we go, Kelazhur, he stims up. Does stim off the ramp, heading straight for the natural. Yeah, the Mass Marine should get a kill in the orbital. And Maru's gonna have a hard time dealing with this. It is overstimmed, that's a lot of Marines. Oh, the tanks do walk into their death there. And the Marines, they take down the CC. They go for a starport as well. They honestly don't get too much here. The upgrades are a little bit vulnerable, but yeah, we clean this up. Maru not looking too bad, but he is out of position and we can take down these tanks. Now what's scary here is that Kelazhur threw away all his Marines. And you can see he has no Marines with his army. No buffer, no support. Raven goes down. Maru, I believe, has the Viking lead, but he does have an anti-armor missile in his entire army. That does push forward. It cleans this up. Maru, for the first time in a long time, takes the supply lead. Yeah, that Marine dive from Kelazhur, it was tempting, but not so sure that was quite worth it here. As for the first time this game, Maru is actually attacking. This entire game, he's been defending. He's been stuck on the back foot, defending over and over again, keeping up with the movements. We could go for a base trade. Maru's pulling back, though. It denies mining at the center base. He's pulling back. Kelazhur does outposition Maru. Or does he? There are tanks left behind. But they're going to be cleaned up. Yeah, 3 tanks go down. Good pickoffs. And once again, Kelazhur is going for the main. He's aiming to go for the main base. Yeah, auto tucks are thrown down. Disables on the tanks as well. And Maru, he's cleaning this up completely. Kelazhur was so committed here, and he loses everything. The Marines, the tanks. Yeah, that fight was just a little bit too chaotic there in favor of Maru. Good moves with the Vikings from Kelazhur. Meanwhile, Kelazhur, he lost that CC. The center base did go down. Vikings coming in. Vikings, they do dive in, and it looks like the air battle going in favor of Maru here. Say that Marines are here to support. Kelazhur is trying to hold on, bleeding out a lot of Vikings though. He's down to 3, down to 2 Vikings. And Kelazhur losing the battle in the sky. Tanks are pushing forward. Maru gets a tank. Marines going down. Kelazhur now on the back foot. I mean, again, it's been a pretty intense back and forth between the 2 players. Props to Kelazhur. Mentioned before, there's a reason why Kelazhur, he has kind of surpassed Special this past year of play, this last year of StarCraft. In his own region. Kelazhur has been able to hold his own against Maru of all players. Very impressive. But it does feel like Maru has quite an advantage right now, and Kelazhur, he needs to try to bounce back. BCs are on the way. The battle cruisers, they're coming. Maru making 2 BCs at a time, working on +3 ship weapons. It's 3 vehicle plating as well. And that is the late game. That is the end game here for TVT, is battle cruisers. That is what you want. They shoot up and they shoot down. It's crazy. Really nice on sieges there from Kelazhur. Likewise, the counter disables as well. Maru trying to force his way up the ramp. Kelazhur has retaken this base. Once again, more disables. Maru backing off. And honestly, Maru doesn't have to force the issue. If he just chills out, buys time, he had the better economy for a little bit longer here, more recently. So he can just wait and get into BC production. As, yeah, that battlecruiser count, it's rising. Line the turrets as well. Maru just securing his half of the map. There we go, does push forward. Oh, we'll bleed out some of those Banshees, sorry, some of those Ravens though. The Viking count in favor of Kelazhur. But here come the BCs. Yamato goes off. One BC goes down. Again, we have not hit critical mass of BC yet. It's 13 Vikings versus 17 from Kelazhur. Yeah, Maru has to back off. Maru can't take this fight. Another Raven goes down. But Kelazhur pushing in a little bit prematurely. His reinforcements just now arrived. Here come more BCs. Suddenly, Maru takes a Viking lead. It's 15 Vikings versus 10. And here we go. The BCs gaining ground. Shutting down those Ravens. Shutting down the Vikings as well. You can see they do such a great job of just tanking shots. We get the Yamato off, and Kelazhur is being broken. I mean, Maru, he's kind of reached that win condition of Battlecruiser. It wasn't an easy road for Maru, but GG, well played, gets called, and Maru will take the 2-0 over Kelazhur. GG, well played. But a shout out to Kelazhur, because that was a game. That was a series. Out of all of these best of twos, I do think that Kelazhur and Maru was the closest out of all of them, which is impressive. And Kelazhur did not look bad. He did not look bad at all against Maru. He was holding his own. In game 1, Kelazhur was even ahead. Even here in game number 2, there were moments where Kelazhur was ahead as well. It was Maru, both games, where he was clawing his way back from the brink. And he barely did. So even though this was a 6-0, a lot of these games were very close and well played. Well played to Platinum Heroes and R8 Esports. Well played to the opponents of Team Vitality. Team Vitality, of course, they take it 6-0 in the end. The first team to get a 6-0, but well played to the opposing team. GG. GG, but GG. Well played. Whew. With that, we have tomorrow's matches. Tomorrow is going to be Starlight Twinkle versus Mystery Gaming and Shopify Rebellion versus Twisted Fairy. Oh boy. Again, this was merely day 1. This was merely day 1 of round 2. Tomorrow, of course, will continue, and we'll have day 3 thereafter. 3 days straight of WTL every single week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Mark your calendars. Set your alarms. Every day over the weekend, we have some WTL action. So with that, thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. We had some amazing matches here tonight. Not just this banger of a TVT that we just wrapped up with, but we also had Ryung popping off against YoungYakov. We had Solar Series versus Goblin, where Goblin wasn't looking too bad either. Remember, Goblin, he went for a Tempest Rush in game 1. He was crazy. Went for a Tempest Rush into a 3-base all-in. Game 2 was another 3-base all-in from Goblin as well. And even before that, with Team Liquid versus Offside, we had an upset. We had an insane upset with Offside taking down Team Liquid as well. It was a wild series. Firefly popping off, proving to be the ace, or of course, proving himself to be the ace player of Offside. Not just that, but even taking down some of the best players in the world. He 3-0'd Clem. Not even just a 2-0. He 3-0'd Clem, Papi. Crazy, crazy. So, again, very well done here by Firefly. Again, I always knew he could take maps, but even I didn't fully have faith in a 3-0. So, very impressive stuff there. I was so sure it was going to be Cure in that ace match, not Clem. So, very impressive there. And a shout out to Offside and Team Vitality and Onside for their performances. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We are done here for the night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for day number 2 of WTL. Not just that, but tomorrow we have another tournament as well. It's going to be Sea Duckling Open. Sea Duckling Open is also going to be showcased here tomorrow in less than 24 hours, so make sure you're a part of that. Otherwise, thank you so much. We'll see you guys for Sea Duckling Open and WTL tomorrow. Exclamation mark socials in the chat if you guys want to have a look at our social media. If you want to follow us, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. We are all things CranKy Ducklings. See you guys tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego. Take care, everyone. Take care.